neither Ankara nor Jerusalem view Tehran as too favorable at this point in time, especially also considering the fact beyond Iranian threats towards Israel directly, also threatening Azerbaijan, for instance, which is aligned with both Israel and Turkey in particular. Is there some alignment beyond what is being reported in the media with regard to activities that are taking place either in Syria or Iraq or intelligence sharing for that matter? Dr. Konya Narocek, we'll start with you.
Well, I would like to make a comment regarding Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is considered as a sister state of Turkey, and of course is also considered as a very reliable ally of the state of Israel. The geographic location of Azerbaijan is making it very important to Israel. We all know that the two countries are collaborating, and the Azeris, of course, are enjoying from the Israeli military capabilities and technologies. So, in this regard, despite the fact that Ankara and Jerusalem did not take a joint decision in supporting Azerbaijan against Armenia, we are seeing that the three of the states are coming together, and of course, Azerbaijan is creating here a common denominator between the three states, and it's basically a success story that the three states can come together, can cooperate together, and of course, we can challenge Iran. Iran is considered as an existential threat against the state of Israel. But we should also not forget, despite the fact that the Turks and the Iranians are not fighting against each other from the imperial times, these two states are considered as the rival states. So today, Turkey is doing its best in order to diminish Iranian influence in Caucasia. And of course, how they are trying to do that? To open a new corridor via Armenia, which is called in Azeri language Zangezur. In Armenian, it's called Siunik. This corridor would basically facilitate of passage from Turkey to Azerbaijan, and it would basically decrease the importance of Iran. So in this regard, in my opinion, if we would like to see less Iranian influence in Caucasia, and of course in the Middle East, I think Israel, Azerbaijan, and Turkey should come together, and in my opinion, the three countries should come together in a blunt way. That there should be trilateral meetings between these three countries, and I think this will, of course, create a new strategic balance in the Middle East at large.
Mr. Harim, I'd like to also ask you beyond this point. The outgoing Israeli Defense Minister, Benny Gantz, before the election in Israel, traveled to meet with his Turkish counterpart, Hulusi Akar, during which he also had the opportunity to meet with President Erdogan. But he came back, and from what I hear from his surrounding, he was very pleased and talked about expanding and deepening security cooperation between Israel and Turkey. To what degree is this seen in the same light or in the same fashion in Ankara these days?
Well, I think meeting with Benny Gantz was very important, especially so close to elections. It shows that the Turkish state is trying to engage with the full political spectrum of Israel. It doesn't matter that Gantz could be out of power, out of position. The Turkish president made the time to meet him, made the time to shake his hand and listen to Israel's concerns from his point of view. And that does show that Turkey is trying to diversify its relationship inside the Israeli state as well, amongst the political parties, amongst different types of ideologies inside, to be able to protect the relationship against shocks. And I think that's very, very important. Now, going over to Azerbaijan, I think Azerbaijan is very important with the weight it could have on Turkey's view of Iran. And hardening of position against Iran. Now, any type of serious national security concern that Azerbaijan would face would seriously motivate Turkey to take a visibly harder position, a harder stance against Iran in the region. Now, when we go back over the past 10 years and we look at Turkey's relationship, how it deteriorated during the Arab Spring with countries like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Israel, and we have the understanding of Turkish foreign policy being built around balance, Turkey lost the balance to Iran. Turkey didn't have a partner in the region to balance Iran. So it was left without options against Iran. There was also the war in Syria, the war in Iraq. These created tremendous voids that Iran was able to exploit in the region. It created a tremendous void in Yemen that it was able to exploit in the region. And when Turkey didn't have partners to balance Iran, it was left with much less options. So it had to live with the Iran reality, and that reality created a 534-kilometer border with Iran into an 1,800-kilometer border with Shia militia. That is Turkey's largest border. Turkey's largest border, its biggest neighbor is Shia militia. We should never forget this. And when you have a non-state actor with an 1,800-kilometer border, an actor that has no accountability, an actor that can distance itself from the state it's acting for, that creates serious national security concerns. And I think Turkey is understanding this more and more. The threat perception is changing more and more every day. And if this is a position that Azerbaijan's also beginning to take, Aliyev being a very close friend of Erdogan, Azerbaijan being a top partner for Turkey, this is going to impact Turkey as well. And now when we see Turkey's reconciliation with the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Israel as well, Turkey has partners that it can work with. It has a committee that it can work with for security in the region. So it has much more motivation now to serve as a bulwark, to serve as part of an understanding that says, hey, Iran, you've expanded too much. This is not your region. And I think one of the important things I also want to note, I've been in Abu Dhabi for a very important conference, and one of the important ideas that I heard being talked about here is a regional security mechanism. I thought this is a fantastic idea, creating a regional security mechanism, especially in an age where we are entering, where there's going to be less U.S. engagement. It's always smart to have local problems solved by local solutions with local actors. And this is definitely something that Turkey can and should take part in if this type of regional security mechanism is created, because Turkey is beginning to sell weapons to many of these regional countries. And being part of a security mechanism would vertically integrate Turkey into the full security apparatus, the full security understanding of this region, saying, hey, we're selling weapons. Hey, we're helping provide security. Hey, we're a partner in policy-making decisions. And this would anchor this relationship, these new reconciliations, to further shocks going forward.
We should not forget that if there is a cooperation between Israel and Turkey, we should also thank to the Iranians, because at the end, because of their plot against the Israeli tourists, the two intelligence agencies had to sit together and had to cooperate, and what we have seen was the success. So thanks to the Iranians, we happen to see that the two intelligence agencies are capable of working together, and I think that was an opportunity to prove since 1990s we did not see such a cooperation. So in this regard, having seen this as a very important example, Israeli Defense Minister was invited to Ankara, met with his counterpart Hulusi Akar, and also we should underline, also President Erdogan hosted Benny Gantz at the presidential palace in Ankara, which was not planned in the beginning. So I'm very much surprised for good that President Erdogan is taking one after the other constructive steps in order to improve the relations. And maybe he calculated that Benny Gantz would be a key actor in the next Israeli government, and maybe he wanted to know him in person. I think that's a very wise move, because when you are meeting someone in person, so that you can also overcome the the complexities if they will erupt tomorrow. So long story short, in a nutshell, again, I'm very much optimistic, and I think, of course, two countries can cooperate also for their own bilateral interests, but they can also contain Iran together, not only in Turkey, but also in other areas like Iraq and in Syria.